Hi, I'm Ellen Francisco. I'm here today to talk about white pine smudge bundles and making them yourself. It's a great time of year because they're in the stores if you don't want to go out to the forest and find it yourself. Regardless, they make a beautiful gift and you can wind in things to make them really look pretty. We're going to put in some mugwort, some fresh lavender flowers, and some wild buttercup. So white pine is used as a protector. When you burn it, the trees themselves can grow up to nearly 250 feet high, and they can live up to about 500 years. And when you see them in tall forests, they look like they've got these giant arms that protect you. So I wanted to do them. The needles are very soft as well. So if you, well, there's all kinds of reasons to use them. So we're going to start with I always start by cleaning it because there are often little spider webs and things in pine. So I've separated all of my different lengths into piles ready to go. So there's a very long pile here as well. But we're going to start off with a medium length wand. And you just want to really line up all the little branches at the bottom. You do need twine. I'm using hemp cord. It's actually pretty thin, but I can tell it's really strong. And you want to measure about 2 arms lengths wide for the cording that's going to wrap. And with the size that I'm doing, I think that'll be plenty, and we'll have enough to wrap at the back and make a little hanger for it. So it's got a loop at the end. You can hang it on a wall if you want until you're ready to use it. So first thing you're going to do is just make a real simple knot. Usually wrap around twice. And then I make one good knot. I make sure that I've got an end here because you're going to need it at the end to help tie the wrap back together. So once you get your knot done, you do want to double knot it. You want to make sure that these sit straight on top of each other. Just like that. And then of course the trick will be as you're winding this up and down its length to not get this piece caught in it. I've done that before. All right, so we're going to start basically, we've got this all in good length. I'm going to keep this up and out of the way. I'm going to bring the long end with me, and we're just going to slowly start doing crisscross around. And as I pull around, I'm going to do it all on a diagonal in the same direction until I get to the end. And I'm going to pull on the twine so that it's not slack. I'm also going to check to make sure that the actual branches aren't bending as I go. And I've just missed a few, so I'm just going to go back and get them. Yeah, so you just kind of want to keep pulling in a downward motion. Put the mugwort in later. So I'm just going to keep pulling. You want to compress them as much as possible because as they're moist here, they've not been cut for very long, there's a lot of moisture in the needles, but as they dry out, they're going to shrink. And if you don't wrap tight enough on this first round, then, you know, it could unwrap just naturally. So you're going to go nearly all the way up to the end. I like to have a little tip stick out, so I don't really want to cut too close to there. So as you get up to the top, you want to just make one last pull. Just check to make sure it's not too bent, you know, because these can curl in amongst themselves. So you're at the top. You're going to wind it twice. And then this is where you start going back down. And you basically repeat in the same fashion. You're pulling at the same time, making sure that everything is pulled tight as you go, and continue straight. So you do want it to have a bit of a crisscross in front. Don't worry about any little ones sticking out. Those can be cut off. And yeah, by this time you can pretty much just twist it. So that was a quick version of just the pine. So now you've got this hanging here, and you've got this heading towards it. You're gonna want to just go a little bit further down, and then you're gonna want to wrap once around, quickly tie it again. And at this point you can use this end to just wind a little bit more. Actually, no, I think what we want to do is use the longer end. What am I thinking? Keep that little one out. And then how much of this you wrap around the end is really just personal preference. I like it to have a cleaner look, so I do like to keep it straight. And then I come back, so I do, you know, about ½ an inch or so. Then I come back to that little tag that we've left here. And I tie the two together. I'll make one other little knot. Oops, spin that around. One more knot for good measure. If you want to be able to hang them to dry, it's good to add a little loop here if you want at the end. Oops, so double knot it to go. And then basically you need a pair of scissors to cut that off. So that was very quick. Then you take your scissors and just clean up this little edge so that it's neater. You can do that by either doing a triangle finish to it or by just cutting it off at the end. I do like to keep the shards of pine at the end, and I put them in little fragrant pillows. So this is fresh enough that there's not too many pieces sticking out. Even with this few little that there are here, you can just clean them up as you go if you want to. It's not completely necessary, but it does finish it off nicely. Gives it a cleaner look. So that was round one. Now we'll try this next one with some of the mugwort and the flowers in it, and we'll wind them in at the first. So again, we're going to go 2 lengths, so we go extra. And you don't have to make these really thick, you know, you can make them skinny little ones. I've made versions where they're quite tiny, and this is a sample of one that I did with some wildflowers. I made this about a month or so ago, more than a month I guess. So that's dried out a little bit lighter, but it's still, it's, you know, fabulous little thing, and you can hang that one as well. So you don't have to be tried and true into something. This is a one I made with cedar and with some other little wild things. So this one, again, we're going to, so this is a pretty thick one. I'm going to do a couple smaller ones here. They make fabulous gifts, and you know, there's so much pine this season. So this will be a nice length, right? So we're going to do some of the mugwort right away at the bottom. Mugwort can be used for opening up your psychic channels, bringing prophetic dreams into your night space. It can help you have astral travel. It's also protecting in a lot of ways as well, just like white pine is, and so is lavender. So I'm going to wait for the lavender because those are delicate. I'm going to bring this flower in. So how you build it is really, again, a personal preference and what you want the final product to look like. I am making these on the new moon. I like the idea of having these. This is a little drier than the mugwort, or the pine, I should say. All right, so there we go. That's our general start. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to wrap around the edges, leave a tail. The hemp cord is great because it doesn't have any dyes in it. It doesn't, you know, it's not too glittery. All right, we're pulling that tight, and I'm doing a double knot here at the back, and then I'm going to start winding, keeping this tail away. If in doubt, just get that out of there. This is what it looks like upside down. I do tend to wrap these upside down because you want to pull everything in this downward direction. So just going to start. When it comes to the flowers, I try to go around them, not so much on top of them. I pull. I'm going to pull the mugwort in. And again, I'm pulling all the way, increasing the tension as I go. Try to keep the same angle as you're winding up as well. I've got to go under this flower rather than over it. On the first pass, I don't like to go over it if I can avoid it. So it does take about a week or two for these to dry out, sometimes longer, just depending. So you do want to think ahead if you're thinking you want to give it as a gift for somebody to burn at a certain time. Okay, so now we're up to the top, and I'm still applying tension. Oops. This is where the needles are a little shorter, so we'll probably lose a couple in the wind. This smells so beautiful mixed with the lavender. It's incredible. I'll put the lavender in on the way back down. Okay, so we're at the top again. Pulling this. It's great that these are soft, otherwise it would actually probably hurt to put this together. But these are really beautiful, soft pine. So I'm going twice around there again. And then we're going to come right back down, crossing over on an angle. Same section. Okay. Yep. If you don't pull this tight enough, the pine does have a tendency to bend, which makes it look kind of cool if you're trying to make a wand-like bundle. So that's going back down. See, I'm doing that without crossing over the flowers again. Strategically going behind them. As this dries, you'll probably lose a little bit. Mugwort does have some little flowers, tiny little seeds. It definitely opens up your psychic channels. It also helps to clarify things and helps take things away that, you know, like the things that block your vision. Kind of offers a peek through. Pine can also bring in abundance, and it can protect you from evil energies, as can mugwort. So I really think of this one along the lines of a protector. Forgot to put the little bit of lavender in here. So I'm just gonna poke that in and go down along. Just a little extra burst of color. And we can hook this one in. Looks good against the mugwort. Alright, so now we can pick up where we left off. Again, I'm making sure my tension is fine. I'm just taking one. Oops, well, there you go. Guess that's going to be harder to keep in there, isn't it? Well, we've got one little nugget on one side. I guess we'll leave it at that. Stuff is very tender. Get a different one next time. All right, so here we are back down. We've got lots of this. See how this is all, we've got the flower petals, or the flower stems. I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to cut these just a little bit shorter so they're more even on the end. These also get pretty sappy, so you do want to make sure that they're not left in places that are going to get you sappy. All right, so this one I am going to wind a little longer. You can use this to bless a place as you're moving into it. It's great. It smells amazing. And when it burns, it does kind of lighten your mood, right? It doesn't have the same density that a white sage does when you burn it, that it's so heavy. So this one is just about the end here. So we're going to tie this one a little bit around and then tie them at the end. That's my double knots. And there you have it. So you can just dry them out in a dry location. I'll just trim the end here again. So your imagination is really the only thing that keeps you from adding on other variations of this. So we'll just keep going and going and going and making next. So yeah, try it out. If you don't want to climb trees and trim them out, look at your local grocer and see if they're carrying them for the holidays. And they make a great gift, great hostess gift for somebody who understands what they do. So enjoy. Thanks for stopping by. Take good care of yourself. Bye for now.